Donald Trump was about to explain what he had explained to the governors. If you want to restore law and order, you have to dominate the streets.
My first and highest duty as president is to defend our great country and the American people. I swore an oath to uphold the laws of our nation, and that is exactly what I will do.
In fact, that is pretty much the #1 job of the President of the United States. He is the executive in charge of executing laws. So Donald Trump is 100% right when he says it's my job to enforce the laws of this country. And smashing a window, jumping inside a store, grabbing a bunch of Nikes or clothing or watches or whatever is against the law. Throwing bricks at police officers, against the law. Violating curfew, all that stuff. He is going to be the law and order president.
I am your president of law and order, and an ally of all peaceful protesters.
And this is something that the Democrats, they always hate. They always hate when Donald Trump reminds them that he's their president too. But the biggest issue is that the people that are getting attacked, the businesses that are getting destroyed, the people that are getting beat up are people that are innocent, #1, that aren't, they don't have it great as it is. And now, because of something that happened in a state or a city far, far away that they had nothing to do with, they're losing their livelihoods. Some of them are losing their lives, or they're getting, they're just getting, beat up for no apparent reason. And Donald Trump, as the chief executive and law enforcement officer, says enough is enough.
In recent days, our nation has been gripped by professional anarchists, violent mobs, arsonists, looters, criminals, rioters, Antifa, and others.
And there he is. He's calling them all out. He's saying, here's what's been happening. And then he says, here's basically the truth of the matter.
These are not acts of peaceful protest. These are acts of domestic terror.
Yeah, calling it like he sees it, domestic terror. If you are out there dressed in black, throwing bricks at people, looting, rioting, inciting violence from the police, that is not just a crime, that is domestic terror.
Today, I have strongly recommended to every governor to deploy the National Guard in sufficient numbers that we dominate the streets.
Yeah, dominate the streets. I've told the governors, you need to stop. You need to do what we did in Minnesota. We will not be the laughing stock. We will not be an unsafe place to live. We will be a country of law and order. And if you can't do it, I will.
If a city or state refuses to take the actions that are necessary to defend the life and property of their residents, then I will deploy the United States military and quickly solve the problem for them.
And this is what you expect a leader to do when something like this, and how many of us have turned on the TV or gone online or just listened to the radio or seen it firsthand and gone, this is crazy. This is, how do we make it stop? What is going on? Who's in charge? How is this America? How many times have you seen someone write that or tweet that or whatever? Well, guess what? This is what's happening because nobody's doing anything. Nobody's in charge. Nobody's really taking care of their jurisdiction. And in Minneapolis, which is where this whole thing started, where all these riots and looters started, in Minneapolis, where they burned down the police station and chased the police from their own building while the mayor and the governor sat by and watched it happen. When Donald Trump saw that, he said, enough is enough. We're sending in the National Guard and we're stopping the problem. And they stopped the problem. And now he's saying to every other governor, it's your job to do just that. If you don't, I will.
America is founded upon the rule of law. It is the foundation of our prosperity, our freedom, and our very way of life. But where there is no law, there is no opportunity. Where there is no justice, there is no liberty. Where there is no safety, there is no future.
And that basically sums it up in a nutshell. So there's the president in the Rose Garden saying these riots will end now. Peaceful protests are welcome. Peaceful protests are necessary. But anything more than that, the looting, the rioting, the attacks, the lawlessness, that is criminal activity. That is domestic terrorism. And if your local jurisdiction won't handle it, we'll send in the United States military to nip it in the bud. And that is leadership. I just don't understand how anyone else can come out after a speech like that and say Donald Trump is not in charge. Donald Trump does not care. Donald Trump is not helping to stop this. I just don't see how anyone in their right mind could possibly think that. Oh, maybe I just answered my own question.